Hear me out. Probably going to say something that's probably going to piss a few people off. You know what I mean? And I really don't care, man. Hear me out. If you're over 40, there's really a good chance that you're training like an old man. And it's not because of your age, it's because of the way you think. And before you click off, hear me out. I'm not talking about the weight on the bar. I'm talking about the conversation you're having with yourself every time you walk into the gym. Because somewhere along the way, men stopped asking, how do I get stronger? And they started asking, how do I make sure I don't get hurt? And that one question changes everything. It's going to change how you train. It changes how you move. It changes what you believe your body is really capable of. And then eventually, it changes who you become. And the crazy part, most men don't even remember when it happened. One day you're trying to get stronger. The next, you're just trying not to break. And who convinced you that was normal? Like, seriously, really, who decided that, turning 40 meant your body started suddenly adapting? Like, who decided heavy weights became dangerous? Power became reckless, athleticism became irresponsible, and playing the safe was the definition of training smart? Hear me out. I hear this all the time. Like, I hear, hey, be careful, you're not 20 anymore. Heavy lifting ruins your joints. Just use the machines. Like, stick to light weights and high reps. Don't squat, man. Don't deadlift. Just walk. That's enough. It's repeated so often, man, that most men never even question it. They just accept it. And acceptance is really where decline begins. Because let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed that when, what happens when someone really, think about it. Have you ever noticed when someone breaks their arm, the doctor puts it in a cast? 6 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe longer. When the cast finally comes off, the arm is smaller, weaker, the muscle is gone. Nobody looks at that arm and says, that's weird. Nobody says, I can't believe the muscle disappeared, because everybody understands exactly what happened. The body adapted. It removed exactly what it wasn't being asked to keep. The muscle wasn't stolen. It wasn't attacked. It wasn't because the person got older in 8 weeks. The body just simply said, I guess we don't need this anymore. Now, here's my question to you. Hear me out. Here's my question, man. Why do we understand that perfectly when there's a cast on someone's arm, but we completely forget it when we voluntarily stop challenging our own body? Like, because every time fear makes you avoid strength, you're putting your body in a cast. Not a plaster cast, you know what I mean? Not a plaster one like they do on your arm, a mental one. Every time you stop lifting something because you've already convinced yourself you'll get hurt, you're putting yourself basically in a strength, you're basically putting your strength in the cast. Every time you stop moving with speed, you're putting your power in a cast. Like, every time you avoid getting on the floor, getting up, or carrying something heavy, or challenging your balance, you're putting capability in a cast. And your body responds the exact same way. It starts removing what you stopped asking it to keep. And not because it wants you to, not because it wants to punish you. It's because that's exactly how it's designed. Your body is incredibly efficient. It refuses to waste energy maintaining abilities that you no longer demand. And that's just biology, not bad luck, and not aging, adaptation, man. And here's where most men get it wrong. They think they're really protecting themselves. But protection without purpose eventually becomes limitation. Think about that. What I really find interesting? A lot of men think that heavy weight becomes less important as they age. And the opposite is true. When you're 25, you can get away with being weak. You recover faster, you compensate better, you bounce back. But every decade after that, strength becomes more valuable. Power becomes more valuable. Balance becomes more valuable. Because weakness becomes more expensive. Strength isn't about impressing people anymore. It's about just straight independence. Power isn't about sports anymore. It's about catching yourself before you hit the ground, man. Like, it's about getting off the floor without grabbing a chair. It's about carrying your own luggage, picking up your grandchildren, having your neighbor move, helping your neighbor move his refrigerator or something. Walking upstairs without walking upstairs without holding onto the handrail. Those aren't old people problems, man. Those are just really strength problems. And strength is trainable. Power is trainable. Balance is trainable. Bone responds to loading. Muscle responds to resistance. And your nervous system responds to the challenge. And science has shown over and over that resistance training helps, preserve the muscle, maintain bone density, keep people functioning independently as they age. And the power is like the ability to produce force quickly. It is really is one of the qualities that declines if you stop training it. And yet it's one of the most important preventing falls, maintaining everyday capability. So you need your power. You need that. Like, how do people want to stop doing that? Like, think about it. Think about how backwards that is, man. The very qualities you need the most later in life are usually the first ones men stop training. Not because they have to, because they think they should. And I think I know where that I really know where that belief came from, man. We watched our fathers get older. We watched our grandfathers slow down. We watched them stop lifting all the way. They don't even touch weights. Stop running, stop climbing, stop carrying, stop challenging themselves. And they became weaker. And everybody assumed that's what aging looks like. But what if we got older backwards? What if they didn't stop because they got old? What if they got old because they stopped? That's a total different conversation, man. Because if your body adapts downward, it can adapt upward. That's how I feel. And that's the beauty of the human body. It never stops listening. The question is, what are you asking your body to become? Like, what are you asking it to really become? Like, every workout is a vote. Not for today. The man you're really becoming. Like, that's what the vote is about. When you're skipping a movement that challenges you, you're casting a vote. When you only do exercises you're already comfortable with, you're casting a vote. When fear is the reason that you're making this decision, and it's behind every decision, you're casting a vote. And after enough votes, you don't get the body you wanted. You get the body you really practice for. And that's why I don't think the gym is really about the gym. I think the gym is rehearsal. Every squat is rehearsal for getting off the floor. Every deadlift is rehearsal for picking up something heavy without hurting yourself, man. Every overhead press is rehearsal for luggage in the overhead bin. Every farmer's carry is rehearsal for carrying groceries without needing a break. Every explosive movement is basically like rehearsal for catching yourself when life surprises you. You're not training muscles. You're training for usefulness. You're training for confidence, training for capability, like training for the version of yourself you'll need 10, 20, 30 years from now, man. Like, I don't understand how this thought process came up. Now, let me be clear. Hear me out. Now, let me be clear. I'm not telling you to walk into the gym tomorrow and chase an ego lift. That's stupidity. That's straight crazy. I'm telling you to stop confusing intelligent training with fearful training. Those are not the same thing, man. Train with great technique, recover well, sleep, eat enough protein, progress gradually. You got to respect the pain, but don't lower your expectations because, the calendar changed. The goal isn't to prove you're still 25. The goal is to make sure your body still remembers how to be strong. Because once your body forgets, getting it back sometimes is much harder, man. So the next time you walk into the gym, don't ask yourself, how little can I get away with? Ask yourself, what ability am I refusing to lose? Is it your strength? Well, train it, man. Your power? Train it. Grip? Train it. What? Your balance? Train it. Mobility? Train it. Confidence? Train it. Like, train. Because one day, life is going to ask something of your body, and it won't care how old you are. It won't care how many birthdays you had. It'll simply ask, can you do this? And to answer that question is being written by choices you make every day, today, every day. That's going to be how, the answer is going to be is being written by the choices you make today, man. That's how you answer it. So no, you're not lifting like an old man because you turned 40. You're lifting like an old man if you already decided your best years are behind you. And that's a decision, that decision, and that's a decision, man, not a diagnosis. So stop playing because you're not getting any younger, man. So let's get it.